Okay, now the time on me has shown 9:13, so we have already to start this webinar. And I say good night to all of you. And now we are going to start the webinar. And the title of this our webinar is Project Management and International Cooperation. An introduction to the principle and practice. This webinar are held by Weaving Ties, BPAN, and Guardian of the Forest. And now we are going to hear the content from the speaker, and we have already two speakers here, and Mr. Michel will be the speaker, and we talk more about this topic, and maybe we'll be at Leticia will be at some information about this topic. So I give for Mr. Michel to start the presentation. Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Selamat malam.
Good evening. Selamat malam.
I'm greeting you from Ecuador, where I live in Latin America. I have been working on projects and international cooperation for like 25 years now. So I can say I have a little experience in this. And we will make here in this webinar tonight a small introduction. Because this is a very large field, it's a large domain where there are so many things to be discussed. And I assume if you're here in this webinar, it's because you're interested in maybe writing projects for your organizations, your villages. So we want to do it the best projects and the best presentations. So that's why we are going to try to understand how it works. So if you have questions, we will have two parts in this presentation. And at the end of the first part, you could ask questions, even in Bahasa Indonesia, no problem, because we will have Jacob helping us with some translation. The main idea is that everyone understands and is clear at the end of this small session. So I begin by saying, by asking, well, what is international cooperation? First of all, this is we're talking about international cooperation when we talk about an external support to achieve an improvement of the well-being of the population or the environment through especially financial resources, but also technical means. So here the key word is improvement. We want to improve the situation. We want to change. So the international cooperation, mostly from abroad, but you could have also cooperation and projects from your country. The main tool used is the project. So I know you're familiar with these words, but maybe it's useful to insist on the keywords, because as we will see during this presentation, the language is very important to learn the language and the key words. So the privileged tool for international cooperation is the project. So this webinar is about cooperation and projects. How it works? Well, there are different ways, but let's see in case one. On the well, I don't know if you can see my small pointer, my mouse. At first we have donors who have money, and usually they make a call for projects. They say, well, we have, I don't know, $1 million and we want to make projects. So they make a call, and there are different technical bodies Usually it's NGOs, non-governmental organizations, that make proposals. They make proposals to these donors. Donors look at the proposals and then give the money for the technical body to make the project, who will then be put in place for the beneficiaries. So that's like the most classical case. But you have other cases. For example, in case number 2 here, the technical body has the ideas and makes proposals. In number 1, NGOs present proposals. So donors review different projects, different proposals from different technical bodies, and then if they accept, the beneficiaries receive the benefits from the project. So in these 2 first cases, which are the most common, the beneficiaries are only waiting, if you want. So I prefer this case 3, when maybe sometimes and more donors make a call for projects, but here the beneficiaries and the NGOs present the proposal, and then if the donors agree, then the beneficiaries and the NGOs implement the project. So this is a slightly different case, and I hope that in Amman and with BPAN we could have this kind of configuration when NGOs and beneficiaries work together and present proposals to donors. So it's important to know this, because a lot of people think that if they have a need in their village, in their wilayat, in their territory, they just have to write a project and then go look for donors. And it's not always like this. More and more donors have special moments in the year or every 2 years when they make a call for projects. So you must know how your donor works. And sometimes even you must have an idea of who you're targeting as donor. Oh, there's something strange happened here. Okay. So what is the recipe for success? For having your project accepted, of course, we need the projects to be accepted because we need the resources. First, I think the good proposal must be clear, very clear and coherent. And even sometimes lean. It means not too big, not too complicated. You must have the problem clearly explained, and the solutions proposed should show experience and know-how. This is the easiest way to be accepted. You must. The key word here is clear. The good proposal must be clear. Very simple, even, but clear to understand. Because sometimes you must have in mind that your donor wants to be things very clear. Even if things are complicated in the field, in real life, you must make them clear. You must have them understand or think they understand what are the real problems in your territory, in your village, in your organization. So this is the first important ingredient for success, is to have a good, clear proposal. Then the second, in my experience, the second item, the second important thing is experience. Many donors, when looking at proposals, they want your organization, your technical body to have already experience in implementing projects. So why is this important? Because they don't want to waste their money. They want to give it to someone or to some organizations that can make the best use of the money they give. So this is why it's important. The experience and if your organization doesn't have that experience, so then it's important maybe to think of an alliance between your organization and another organization that has that experience. This is the same for the third ingredient. The third point is to have an administrative and financial management experience also, and ability. Sometimes even some organizations ask you to show that you already manage a certain amount of money in the year. Some of them ask you even for your financial balance, and even some of them ask you for audits to make sure you already have been managing large amounts of money. If your organization only manages small projects like, say, $10,000, they won't give you $1 million right away. So here again, it's important, if you don't have your own administrative ability, you can build it by going into an alliance with someone who has it, and then learn and have your team get this experience with time. So these are the three main points, I would say. But then there are like some additional points, and one of them is the ability to leverage other funds. For example, some people, some donors would give you money, but you must prove that you have had the ability to convince other donors to have half of the money you need. So one of the donors gives 50% of your budget and the other donor gives 50%. This is very important. Some of the donors want you to have your own funds. For example, some of them count the money from, if you have voluntary work from, for example, from villagers, they are agreed to count it as part of your counterpart. But this is not always the case. The other plus, the other additional thing is the amount of people that will be beneficiaries, because usually donors don't want to have two small projects that only benefits, let's say, like 5 families or a group of 10 persons. Those are too small projects. So sometimes, or most of the time, donors want to have like 100,000 people benefited. So it's important to have a certain amount of people that you will be benefiting, but of course it depends of the money you have. If you receive $1 million and only benefit 100 persons, 100 people, it's too much money for a very small amount of people. And on the other hand, if you receive $1,000, you're not supposed to help 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So of course there are other points, but I would say these are the key important things to have your project approved.
Michelle?
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Just give me a little bit. I want to explain a little bit in Indonesia, because there is just one our friend joined this room, and he didn't understand at all what it is, this webinar. So I just short explanation a little bit before you continue. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, 2 to 3 minutes only. Jadi kawan-kawan, terutama di kawan-kawan pengurus, ada Engga ini, ada Bung Ade dari Bima. Nah, secara singkat aja nanti ku jelasin bahwa webinar ini berbicara sebenarnya secara umum adalah soal bagaimana membangun kerjasama internasional, yang dalam konteks ini salah satunya melalui bagaimana membuat proposal yang menarik gitu ya, proposal yang masuk akal dan layak dipertimbangkan, kira-kira gitu. Jadi kita sebagai organisasi massa, dalam konteks ini adalah BPAN, kita sebenarnya bisa mengakses dukungan dari teman-teman di luar, dari donor yang punya semangat yang sama untuk mendukung gerakan pemuda adat sebenarnya. Nah, itu yang dijelaskan sama Michelle di sini. Terus bagaimana ininya, cara atau resepnya gitu ya, resepnya bikin sebuah proposal yang menarik itu bagaimana. Nah, kira-kira tadi itu yang sudah dia paparkan. Ada 3 poin utama yang paling ini, yang secara umum tadi aku dapat, yaitu proposal itu secara umum dibikin jelas, tidak bertele-tele dan simpel, sederhana, dan cukup ini, sekali makan langsung selesai gitu kan. Terus di dalamnya diisi juga pengalaman. Kalau secara organisasi kita punya, secara umum di BPAN kita bisa menunjukkan itu apa yang kita kerjakan, dan punya administrasi yang rapi. Artinya sebagai organisasi, terutama teman-teman pengurus wilayah dan pengurus daerah, mestinya sudah harus mulai dari sekarang merapikan administrasi ya. Itu yang akan sangat mendasar bagi sebuah pengurus, baik nanti pengurus wilayah atau pengurus daerah, untuk bisa membangun kerjasama dengan berbagai pihak dimanapun gitu ya, konteksnya. Kira-kira itu. Nanti lebih lanjut bisa kita cek lagi dengan kawan-kawan ini. Nanti kawan-kawan bisa bertanya lebih lanjut. Saya kira itu that's all. Michelle, it's now it's time back to you. So
Okay.
yeah, still a little bit.
That was faster than me. Okay, I continue then.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Oh, okay. So another important thing to know is that there are like fashion trends. It's important to understand that now, when the donor gives you money, he has an idea of what he wants to do with his money. Often because he has to answer to a governing body which dictates what is the best use of the funds. So sometimes you would think that because you're in need, your donor has to help you, but no, that doesn't work that way. Usually the donor has an idea of how he can help you, and he thinks he even has a better idea than you could have. And over time, there have been like trends and fashion, and there are some issues that are trendier than others. I would present some trendy issues right now because it changes over time. The language changes. But the first one is climate change. Lots of people want to work on climate change and give funds for climate change. Here there are 2 key words: adaptation and mitigation. Adaptation means, well, climate is changing, so you adapt. For example, there's less water because of climate change, there's less rain, so you adapt, you try to, for example, learn to cultivate, to ground to your crops without water. Mitigation is different. Mitigation is that you work to reduce the climate change in itself. For example, a classic one is you restore forests, you make plantation of forests, or you help old forests to regrow. So these are the key words: climate change, adaptation, mitigation. Another very important trendy issue, it doesn't mean it is not an important issue, but it's also in fashion to the presently. It's women and gender equality. Well, this responds to a real problem with gender equality, but always, or most of the time, if you present a proposal, you must also take into account in your proposal what you will be doing with women in your proposal, in your villages. And this is important because sometimes good part of the projects were done only by men, and men forgot women. And so now it's always required to have women and women issues in your project. Another important point, and that is of interest to you all, is youth. What are we going to do with youth? Youth are the future. Youth are the present also. So how are the young people will be are going to participate? How youth is going to participate in your project? So this is a trendy issue also, and sometimes you must take it into consideration, or most of the time. And also youth is most of the time linked to innovation. So we suppose the idea behind this is that youth can innovate, and this is natural because youth will be more prone to innovation than older people. And one other trendy issue is entrepreneurship. So a lot of people think that being entrepreneur is a good thing. So there's a lot of because the idea behind this is that if you help people that are young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs, they will contribute to, for example, to create jobs. And so this is important, and to create wealth. So entrepreneurship is also a very trendy issue. Sometimes we for example, I am an agronomist. I work mostly on crops and cultivation, and sometimes we forget this side of entrepreneurship. I don't know, Jacob, if you want to take the translation over some issues here.
Yeah, I think just a brief translation. Ya, kawan-kawan, yang terakhir ini dia menjelaskan tentang tren isu yang ini sangat banyak sekarang dipakai orang di mana-mana dalam konteks gerakannya masing-masing gitu ya. Jadi masing-masing organisasi seperti BPAN atau AMAN atau bahkan organisasi petani dan lain-lain yang punya yang sedang misalnya berjuang mengakses dukungan dari donor, itu mereka mengikuti tren yang ada, tren secara global ya. Jadi biasanya tren global ini ada kaitannya dengan kebijakan-kebijakan tingkat dunia yang sedang diambil. Nah, biasanya terfokus atau ini salurannya melalui PBB. Jadi kalau PBB biasanya ada konferensi tahunan dan macam-macam sudah ada jenis konferensinya, tapi misalnya salah satunya adalah konferensi tentang perubahan iklim yang tingkat dunia, karena saat ini kan sedang terjadi perubahan iklim ya. Nah ini tiap tahun dilakukan oleh PBB, mengundang para pengambil kebijakan tingkat tinggi dunia untuk melawan perubahan iklim. Nah itu menjadi isu tren yang di mana-mana orang berlomba-lomba untuk berkarya, berlomba-lomba untuk menyumbangkan gagasan, kerja-kerja yang bisa diletakkan langsung di tingkat tapak atau di tingkat komunitas atau yang melalui organisasinya. Nah, jadi ada tren-tren isu yang ini bisa menjadi pintu masuk untuk mencari dukungan. Satu tadi itu perubahan iklim atau climate change, yang di dalamnya itu dalam konteksnya ada adaptasi sama mitigasi. Tadi sudah dijelasin, adaptasi itu bagaimana kita beradaptasi dengan kondisi situasi saat ini, yang mungkin kalau kawan-kawan atau kita di sini nggak terlalu melihat perbedaan dengan pengalaman langsung dibandingkan dengan tahun 90-an misalnya. Bagaimana dulu cuaca, bagaimana dengan sekarang, dan konteks-konteks apakah ada bencana dan seterusnya. Terus mitigasi, nah ini bagaimana menghadapinya. Mitigasi ada banyak sekali misalnya perkebunan yang membuka lahan sawit dan segala macam, itu kan bagian dari kerja-kerja manusia yang merusak lingkungan. Jadi perlu mitigasi bisa dalam bentuk advokasi, bisa menanam pohon dan lain-lain. Terus isu yang lain ada 3 lagi, ada soal perempuan dan kesetaraan gender. Terus ada pemuda. Kalau pemuda pas kita ini di BPAN ini sangat ininya kita ya. Terus entrepreneurship atau kewirausahaan. Nah itu yang sedang tren saat ini, tapi dia bilang tadi sebenarnya tren ini sebenarnya dia selalu berubah-ubah gitu ya, entah dalam 10 tahun, entah dalam 5 tahun, atau dalam berapa lama, ini selalu berubah-ubah, dan penting untuk mengikuti isu tren yang supaya kita bisa menyampaikan apa yang mau kita inikan. Jadi dalam isi proposal itu misalnya kita akan relate kan atau akan kaitkan dengan isu yang sedang tren di saat ini. Saya kira itu Michelle, I think you can continue. Thank you.
Okay. So what happened is that in order to present our proposals, we write the project. So now we're going to discuss what is a project. I don't know, Jacob, we said if at this point someone has questions, maybe we can receive some questions very briefly, or you think we can continue?
Calvin, I think the school is yours.
Ya oke, teman-teman, mungkin ada yang mau sebelum dia lanjutkan ini, mungkin ada yang mau bertanya, mungkin memberikan pendapat. Jadi dia mencoba untuk memberikan kita umpan balik kan. Jadi sebelum dia mungkin menjelaskan lebih lanjut tentang apa itu project, teman-teman mungkin bisa memberikan tanggapan tentang apa itu project. Jadi silakan bicara saja, hidupkan mikrofon dan langsung bicara, biar diskusi kita kan lebih hidup. Silakan kalau ada, kalau enggak ya saya suruh dia lanjut saja.
Ya bahasa Indonesia pun nggak apa-apa ya.
Iya, nggak apa-apa.
Nanti ketua bantu ke Inggris. Oke teman-teman, ada yang mau bicara apa itu project? Silakan, nggak usah malu-malu. Kalau dalam bahasa Inggris sikat saja. Kayaknya sebelum ke project itu Kals masih yang tadi.
Yang mana ini? Yang
penjelasan yang tadi itu mungkin ada yang sampai di situ yang mau ditanyakan.
Oh iya, jadi sampai yang tadi itu teman-teman ingin bertanya soal sampai penjelasan terakhir yang sudah ditranslate oleh Dr. Jacob. Oke, silakan, ada ini Amel. Oke, mungkin langsung bicara Amel, kamu langsung bicara.
Oke Kak, I will ask about the administration. It has already been explained that there must be tidying up the existing administration. But what if there is an organization that has not had time to tie up the existing administration? Does it affect an existing organization or
Yes, I don't understand exactly the question. I assume it's about if you have an organization and you don't have like experience in administration or not much, or you have only managed small amounts of money. So this could be a problem in some cases. And as I said before, it's important then to look for another organization, like sometimes NGOs are good allies. You have to find a good ally which you trust, and then work with an NGO or someone else that has this administrative experience. Otherwise, you won't have the money, you won't have the project, they won't accept your project. And for example, I have an example here in Ecuador. There's a big traditional organization for Ecuador, for all the country, and they simply have had their bank account closed because, I don't know, they made a mistake and their bank account was closed. So you can understand that if your bank account is closed, you can't receive any money from any donor. So I don't know if that was exactly the question.
Amel, tanya lagi. Dia belum terlalu jelas dengan pertanyaan kamu, Amel.
I mean, a proper administration is very important in making a proposal. But what if the organization doesn't have a good administration or make it fine and they should make the proposal done? Does it matter or not?
Sorry, I don't understand exactly the question. Can you repeat it? Sorry. Maaf.
Okay. Okay, maybe I can explain to you, Michelle, what is about her question.
Yes, please. Satu lagi.
Okay, so the Amel asked about how if the administration staff is not have a good capability, or even he not have a good management in its administration, is that he will get the proposal. He will get the proposal when the proposal already done, but the administration is not good enough. But the proposal is already done, and then he sent to the donor.
Maksudnya ini kapasitas si staffnya ya?
Iya, kapasitas si staffnya. Apakah dia tidak terlalu Tapi apakah itu? Tapi proposalnya tetap jadi. Itu kan, Amel?
Ini Kak, kan tadi udah dijelasin kalau
coba.
Sebelum ini apa sih?
Oh.
Oke, Mel. Halo, Amel. Halo, Amel.
Gini Kak, kan tadi administrasinya harus dirapikan. Terus gimana kalau ada satu organisasi yang akan membuat proposal tapi administrasinya belum sempat dirapikan? Apakah itu akan berpengaruh dalam pembuatan proposalnya atau?
Oke.
Yeah.
What is the question?
Itu aja kok.
So,
bisa juga kita Jacob aja.
Michelle, she's asking about the technical things in relation to administrative things, right? So if there is an organization that they didn't have a good administration inside the organization, but they also want to submit some proposal for kind of donors. What will happen if there is the situation in the organization? What we should do? Is it will influence the processing, the process? So
Yes.
yeah.
So if you have a reportedly bad administration, you might not get more funds. You might not get other new projects because of, for example, I know, for example, here cases in Latin America, in Peru, I have an example in mind where they didn't make good reports to the donor, so the donor simply stopped giving new projects to this organization. So this could happen, and it is not a good thing because sometimes donors speak between themselves. So if you failed with the Swedish people, maybe the British people also will know about this. So if your bad reputation could be very difficult, difficult to change. Sometimes it's just you make mistakes or things like that. Sometimes some leaders steal from their organizations and from their people. I don't know in Indonesia, but here that happens. Sometimes people just get money directly into their personal accounts. So when this happens, you need first to change leadership and to make them accountable, of course, of what happened. But also you need that the new administration, the new leadership shows that they didn't agree with what was happening, and even go to the court or make some, official, make that official, because donors will be waiting for you to show a different change. If you don't make this very official, that you don't agree what other people from the past, leaders from before did, donors will always suspect you, even if you're a new leadership, even if you're young and the other were the elders. Donors will get very scared about you. So this is very important to have a clean reputation, a good reputation, and again, an advice that could be given if you have problems like that and you can't prove you have a good reputation or a good administrative capabilities, you might look for an ally, another organization or an NGO that could help you, and then you will build a new capability in your team. I think this is the answer. Sorry, I'm.
It's great.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I will continue and then we'll catch up with some other question.
Oke, continue. Biar apa masih ada pertanyaan teman-teman? Udah nggak ada?
Okay.
Okay, you can continue, Michelle.
Okay, so what is a project? So now, to enter in the part where we speak about the project. A project is it's a set of resources. At first, you have, of course, human resources. You need to have a team with capabilities, often technical capabilities, to implement your project. You also need financial resources, of course, because making change always has some cost at some point, and some material resources. Sometimes you need computers, sometimes you need seeds, sometimes you need, I don't know, even a boat or a car to move but the main thing here, the main idea is that a project is putting together these resources to get an objective. It's an objective or goal is what we want to obtain at the end of the project. Because remember, a project is about changing something, changing a situation. So you must have an idea of what you want to obtain at the end. Do we translate a little, Jacob, maybe this?
Okay. I think you can just go on a few slides, so, and then
Okay.
I'll translate. Yeah.
Okay. So, but also the project is a project document, and it explains what will be obtained. So then you have your goals or objectives. What are the outcomes? What are the results you want to obtain with your project? It also explains how we will do it. So you must, in your project, write a list of activities. What are you going to do concretely? A list on how also involves the human or material resources. And also the how also implies the methodology. We speak of methodology of how we will do things. For example, some people think that making exchanges between people is more effective than just teaching them. So this is the methodology. How you will do it? Do you think, for example, it's important that you bring an agronomist to teach peasants how to cultivate, or is it better to just make exchanges between different kinds of peasants? So that's the methodology. Also, when you will do it. So you have to have a plan and have a timeline or a schedule, because you can't do everything at the same moment. So you have to have a plan, and to show also that you have an idea of which goes first, and then you can go forward. So the schedule is important. It is often asked from donors, what's your schedule? Finally, and most importantly, is how much will it cost? And that's a budget, of course, and you have to have a very good idea of how much what you want to do will cost. Because if the donor gives you the money, they will want you to really do what you were supposed to do. And you're not supposed, if you said you will do one, for example, one workshop, you're not supposed to spend that money in another completely different thing. So this is very important. In the budget, you indicated that you will do a certain amount of activities, certain type of activities, and once you send it to the donor, he expects you to do exactly the same thing. You can change. Some donors accept you to change, but most frequently you have to ask them. You can't. There are very few flexible donors that will accept that instead of doing a workshop, you do a webinar. but some of them are flexible, and you must discuss with them before change. All the time you have to explain why are you changing this or continue or
Okay, let me
okay.
Translate a little bit that. Oke, jadi pertama-tama proyek itu adalah sebenarnya dia lebih pada alat untuk membawa perubahan sebenarnya gitu ya. Jadi ininya terpusat pada changes, perubahan. Jadi dengan misalnya ada dukungan lewat proyek, maka proyek itu akan membuat ada hasil gitu ya. Ada perubahan yang tercipta dalam masyarakat. Itu yang sebenarnya itu intinya. Jadi proyek ini bukan kalau misalnya, karena kadang orang bicara donor, bicara dukungan dari donor, proyek segala macam itu lebih mungkin negatif dipandang atau hal-hal yang lain gitu ya. Nah karena itu menurut Michelle tadi, kalau kita misalnya mau mengakses dukungan ke yang punya duit atau donor, terus kita bikin proposal, maka itu ruhnya isi proposal itu pastilah adalah untuk perubahan. Jadi yang didukung itu benar-benar untuk diimplementasikan pada kerja-kerja di lapangan jadi bukan untuk misalnya memperkaya organisasi atau memperkaya anggota-anggotanya, bukan gitu ya. Itu ya hal kayak gitu itu tidak relevan, dan itu biasanya akan digugurkan dan tidak akan, karena yang punya duit mereka tidak mau menghamburkan duitnya kalau itu nggak bermanfaat sama sekali. Kalau hanya untuk buang-buang duit ngapain kayak gitu ya. Makanya prosesnya biasanya ketat gitu ya. Jadi detail di dalam isi proposal itu diterangkan bahwa akan secara tersirat akan ketahuan bahwa ini mau ngapain dan goalnya bagaimana. Makanya di dalam itu tadi secara singkat kan ada tiga ya, ada sumber daya manusia, terus sumber daya keuangan, ekonomi, atau final resources, terus metode material resources, sumber daya material dan lain-lain. Nah terus masuk ke ini isi dokumen itu. Nah kalau ini kan kayak kerangkanya sebenarnya yang dia tentukan ini, yaitu ada tujuannya atau goal atau objektif, apa tujuan proyek itu mau dibikin, lalu hasil yang diharapkan apa, outcome-nya, sampai jadi ada sampai indikator-indikator nanti capaiannya gitu ya, ada capaiannya. Terus baru masuk ke daftar aktivitas, sumber daya, metodologi, waktu, kapan itu. Jadi misalnya proyeknya akan dibikin dalam rentang waktu berapa bulan atau berapa tahun misalnya gitu kan. Jadi kalau misalnya dibikin biasanya dalam paling tidak 6 bulan, paling mungkin ya, paling pendek. Biasanya setahun, 2 tahun dan seterusnya. Jadi tapi tergantung jenis ini ya, sudah jenis dukungannya, jenis fundnya. Terus masuk ke budget. Nah budget itu biasanya itu namanya RAB ya, atau rancangan anggaran biaya. Nah itu semua masuk ke proposal dengan sangat masuk akal. Artinya tidak boleh markup sana sini, atau tidak boleh hal-hal yang tidak masuk akal dimasukkan di dalam isi proposal itu, sehingga dia benar-benar ketika misalnya selesai nanti kegiatan itu, maka poin-poin yang dituliskan dalam tujuan, capaian, segala macam itu bisa diukur, bisa dicek apa kekurangan, apa kekuatan, apa hasil yang didapatkan, kira-kira gitu ya. Ya Michelle,
so how is the process of writing the project? I think that the secret to write a good proposal is you have to have a global vision of three things. First, what are the problems we want to fight? What are the problems we want to tackle? You have to have a good diagnostic. What is happening? What are the problems? So this is the first part. We have to be very clear about what are the problems, and what is causing the problems we face. Sometimes you can't stay at the surface and see only one problem, but also you want to look for what is the problem behind the other problem. For example, I'll try a little context in my example. For example, if your problem is smoke, there's a lot of smoke because what are the causes of this smoke that is causing, I don't know, respiratory diseases? Sometimes the cause is that you have pit fires, and these pit fires are made by companies that are trying to have plantations, to build plantations. So the problem is not the smoke, but you have to look at the problem behind that first problem. So the second thing you have to look is how we will change the situation and make real improvements. So this is the core part of the project, is you have a proposal that you can change and make real improvements. So you must have an idea of what you will do. And third is you have to have the improved situation in mind. You have to take a look at the future and be able to tell the donor what will be this improved situation. And that's what we call the objectives or the goals. Should I continue?
Yep, just continue.
So, if we scan a project, if we have an analysis of what a project is first you have a diagnostic. You have to explain what are the problems, how they are linked between them, what are the stakeholders of this problem, what are the actors behind that problem. Some of them could be responsible for your problem. Some of them could be only victims of your problem. You have to make an effort of prioritization. Because sometimes in a community or in a village, we have lots of problems. We have so many things we would like to change. So you have to make a prioritization to say, well, this is the most important problem. And the other, yes, they exist, but you will only work to combat, to fight this problem. So this is the prioritization. It's very important because now donors tend to support simple projects that tend to fight one or two important problems, not every problem in a village or a territory. Then you have the core of the project, and where you have a budget. So that is the money. You prepare what activities you will do, and then to obtain what objectives. In order to better organize your projects, you have a tool here at the bottom right, which is called the logical framework, and we'll discuss this later. But this is an important tool to prepare what will be your activities. And finally, you also always have to have in mind that at the end of your project, you have to have an evaluation tools. You must measure the impact of your project. And most of the donors want you to have already during the course of your project to have these evaluations working also. And these evaluation tools could be very simple, like just writing a report and also they could be very complicated, like having a set of indicators. But we'll talk about this later. I don't know, maybe here I stop. Jacob?
Ya, thank you, Michelle. Jadi, bagaimana menulis menulis sebuah proposal atau project writing? Sebenarnya secara ini agak-agak mirip. Bagaimana sebenarnya tujuannya benar-benar meyakinkan gitu ya, dan meyakinkan bukan berarti membohongi, tapi ya berangkat dari data yang kita punya, dari apa yang benar-benar terjadi yang kita hadapi. Jadi ada tiga visi global, maksudnya tiga visi yang secara umum yang harus dicek. Satu itu apa masalahnya gitu ya. Jadi akan dijelaskan masalah yang akan dikerjakan gitu ya. Lalu apa penyebabnya. Nah, mungkin kalau kita ambil contoh untuk pemuda misalnya, katakanlah masalahnya adalah secara umum aja dulu, misalnya masalahnya anak-anak muda banyak yang meninggalkan kampung karena faktor-faktor misalnya tidak ada pekerjaan di kampung, atau apa istilahnya, bukan semacam alergi gitu ya, nggak kerasan tinggal di kampung karena selain tidak ada penghasilan, terus juga dinilai misalnya kalau di kampung itu kampungan atau terbelakang atau ketinggalan zaman dan lain-lain. Nah itu misalnya adalah bagaimana menghadapi itu, kenapa persoalan itu tercipta, misalnya kenapa anak-anak muda jadi enggan menempati kampungnya sendiri, misalnya gitu. Setelah misalnya dia kenal sekolah mulai SMA sampai perguruan tinggi yang meninggalkan kampung, lama-lama dia jadi malu misalnya melihat kampung sendiri, apalagi ibarat kata mau jadi petani, kan itu sangat langka itu. Itu misalnya contoh ya. Jadi itu misalnya jadi persoalan yang misalnya contohnya yang harus diungkapin. Terus, nah dari situ lalu masuk melalui ini, kalau misalnya kita mau bikin satu gebrakan, satu aksi, nah dituliskan di dalam isi proyek ini. Nah bagaimana menghadapinya? Bagaimana menyampaikan ke anak-anak muda supaya tinggal di kampung juga keren, tinggal di kampung juga bisa punya penghasilan dan lain-lain gitu. Terus sampai ke persoalan memperbaiki situasi itu. Jadi pasti akan ada implikasinya kan. Nah itu mestinya dimasukkan semua, diinput semua dalam proyek ini. Nah, ke penjelasan scanning project ada di sini itu perlu itu mendiagnosa masalah-masalah, terus siapa stakeholdernya. Ini yang kemudian perlu diprioritaskan untuk itu masuk di tujuan, dijelasin atau dimasukkan dalam tujuan dari aksi ini ataupun proyek ini mau diadain. Nanti dijelasin juga secara detail dalam aktivitas ataupun kegiatan sampai rencana budget yang diperlukan untuk mengimplementasikan seluruh kegiatan yang dimaksud, yang direncanakan. Nah, terus ada kerangka kerja yang logis di dalam yang mengawal atau logical framework gitu kan. Artinya segala sesuatunya memang tetap harus logis artinya bagaimana kita mau melakukan aksi itu, ya itu juga akan tertulis dan itu logis, artinya masuk akal. Jadi kalau orang juga mau mendukung, kita harus punya ide, gagasan yang memang benar-benar logis, bisa dikerjain benar-benar dan nggak muluk-muluk gitu ya. Lalu di belakang, di terakhir ada evaluasi, artinya kelak akan ada evaluasi dari Kalau misalnya jadi suatu proyek itu didukung, didanai oleh donor misalnya, maka dalam rentang waktu setelah selesai, misalnya katakanlah setahun, maka di akhir cerita atau di akhir proyek akan ada evaluasi. Jadi evaluasi untuk melihat hal-hal yang masih mengganjal, apakah selama proyek ini sasarannya tercapai nggak, tujuannya tercapai nggak, ada nggak impact-nya ataupun dampaknya pada komunitas atau masyarakat. Kira-kira gitu. Mungkin barangkali ada yang tersilap atau terlewatkan, nanti bisa kita elaborasi lebih lanjut ya. Michelle.
Yes, sorry. So, in order to prepare the project, as we saw just right now, there are two useful tools that have been devised over time, learning from past mistakes. The first one is the problem tree. This is a tool that helps us prioritize the problem and understand what are the relationships between different problems. So I'll try to explain briefly, because we have already, this is being very long already, but I'll try to explain this very rapidly. And the second one is the logical framework. So this is another very important tool which allows us to design a more efficient intervention in our project. So I'll just make a first a rapid explanation, and we were thinking and we were proposing, if you're interested, maybe we could discuss these two tools in detail in another webinar in the future, if you are interested. But right now, what's the problem tree? The problem tree tries to, in a village or in a province, wilayat, you have a lots of problems. So you try to make an order in the problems and make different levels of problems. Some are more important than the others, and also there's a relationship of cause and effect in the problems. In this graphic, the problems from the bottom cause the problems of the top. For example, here, problem A1 and problem A2 cause problem A, and also problem B cause problem B caps, and problem A and problem B cause problem X. For example, if we say problem X is poverty, general poverty in rural areas, we could say, for example, problem A is the lack of job opportunities. So you have problem X, which is poverty, because you have lack of jobs available in the area. And problem B could be, for example, that there's too much people in the area, so you don't have. So there's a lot of people, and so there's poverty. And problem A, which is, for example, here in my example, is lack of jobs opportunities, could be caused because you have a very distant area, because there are no roads, for example. And the other thing would be that because the government is more interested in other policies than creating jobs. And here in the problem B is there's too many people, because for example, people have problem B is because women are having too many children, they don't have education. So this is, I don't know if you understand, but in this way you could build a problem tree which explains the problem X. So you have, as you see in the third level, you have a lot of problems, but they are sometimes somehow organized. Sometimes it is difficult to build such a tree, and sometimes the problems are not that simple, but you must know this is a simplification. This is in order that you and your donor understand the problems. And so it's easier then to combat the problems if you have them structured. And there's a relationship between what you want to do and your problems. Here enters what we call the logical framework. The logical framework is the part from the upper part of this figure. The logical framework wants to have a logical relationship between what you will do. So you have your objective, your main goal, and in order to obtain your objective here, you must obtain two specific objectives. I will explain the difference between specific and objective, general objective, later in the next slide. But you can have this objective if you attain this specific objective 1 and specific objective 2. For example, if my problem here is poverty, as I said in my example, the objective here could be to fight poverty. But we said that our problem had two causes. First, for example, lack of job opportunities. So your specific objective here in mirroring the problem A could be to create job opportunities in an area. In order to create, in order to create specific job opportunities here, you could have, for example, your outcome here at a different level. In order to create job opportunities, you could have, for example, you will create courses for entrepreneurs. Or here at outcome 1.2, you could have funds for entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, so that they could begin to create their enterprises and create job opportunities. So you have your fund here, your fund for new entrepreneurs in outcome 1.2. You could have here at the specific objective 1, you could create job opportunities and then fight the poverty, which is your first objective, your main objective. So there's a relationship in mirror between what is the logical framework of what you want to do or your problem tree. I don't know if it's clear so far, Jacob,
Yeah.
or maybe
It's clear, yeah.
or I go to the next slide because, well, I don't know if maybe you want to translate here because
Okay,
this is very complicated.
Yes, let me translate in a few minutes. Oke, jadi kawan-kawan tadi ada bilang ada 2 apa 3 ya, ada 2 kalau nggak salah apa 3 ya, perkakas untuk menyiapkan proyek ini, tools ya. Jadi ada 2 apa 3 perkakas, tapi aku catat ada 3. Terus yang satu itu belajar dari kesalahan masa lalu, gitu ya, belajar dari kesalahan masa lalu. Yang kedua ada pohon masalah atau problem tree, pohon masalah. Terus ada kerangka kerja yang logis, itu yang sedang dijelaskan barusan kan. Nah, langsung ke pohon masalah bahwa jadi ini sebenarnya mengurai apa yang terjadi, apa yang mau kita hadapi, apa yang mau kita coba selesaikan itu ya. Maka melalui pohon masalah ini kita mencari menguraikan poin per poin dan sampai ke turunan-turunannya gitu ya. Nah tadi dia contohkan misalnya kalau masalah itu adalah katakanlah kemiskinan gitu ya. Jadi dari situ kemudian diuraikan, dibikin bagan atau pohon masalahnya. Kenapa? Jadi muncul pertanyaan-pertanyaan untuk menggali kenapa ada kemiskinan. Nah, dia misalkan ada dua tadi contohnya, misalnya minimnya atau nggak adanya ini peluang kerja, lack of job opportunity. Jadi minimnya peluang kerja misalnya mungkin tidak ada di situ pokoknya minimnya kesempatan kerja. Terus satu lagi banyaknya populasi kemudian itu berdampak pada terjadinya kemiskinan. Lalu diuraikan lagi, diturunkan lagi misalnya dari minimnya peluang kerja itu diuraikan menjadi kenapa apa penyebabnya. Terus dimasukkan katakanlah misalnya aksesnya ke ini jauh, ke tempat ininya jauh karena persoalan katakanlah jalan belum aspal, jadi infrastruktur misalnya kan, sehingga kesempatan untuk cepat mobilize dari kampung ke kampung lain atau ke kota misalnya itu nggak bisa cepat, sehingga itu menjadi bagian dari penyebab di bagian salah satu paling kecil dari bagan ini, dari paling bawah gitu ya misalnya. Lalu dari sisi misalnya banyaknya populasi itu kemudian karena hidup dalam kemiskinan tapi orang berpopulasi terus bertambah lalu yang muncul adalah mereka nggak mampu memenuhi kebutuhannya sehari-hari apalagi menyekolahkan. Nah alhasil misalnya banyak yang putus sekolah kira-kira gitu, sehingga itu semua menumpuk menjadi poin-poin ataupun alasan-alasan kenapa kemiskinan itu terjadi gitu ya. Nah itu kira-kira yang dia indikat tadi, yang dia sampaikan contoh pohon masalah. Lalu masuk ke logical framework-nya, ini yang kemudian dia bilang sebagai mirror-nya, sebagai cerminnya. Jadi dia membalikkan untuk menghadapi persoalan-persoalan yang di pohon masalah tadi. Nah jadi head to head dia, face to face kan. Kalau misalnya di dalam di problem X itu tadi misalnya kemiskinan, maka dihadapkan dia dengan objektif atau tujuannya kan clear. Jadi head to head masuk ke tujuan utama atau goal atau objektifnya. Di situ diingin ya tentu misalnya objektifnya adalah bagaimana mengurangi kemiskinan itu atau meredam kemiskinan itu kan. Nah lalu diturunkan ke tujuan spesifik lagi, ada 1-2. Jadi dicabangkan lagi tujuan spesifik 1, tujuan spesifik 2 yang itu langsung di-compare ke problem A, problem B, persoalan A, persoalan B tadi itu. Nah itu bagaimana ininya tujuannya menghadapi persoalan A, spesifik A, persoalan B. Misalnya menghadapi kurangnya peluang kerja, terus di sisi lain menghadapi bagaimana menekan angka populasi yang terus meningkat itu. Nah terus kemudian diteruskan ke outcome hasil-hasil itu. Nah misalnya ini sudah lebih ke teknis yang lebih praktis dia kan. Misalnya outcome-nya itu katakanlah dia bilang tadi ada kayak jadi bagian kayak macam pemberdayaan gitu ya, apakah kursus wirausaha atau apa gitu ya disediain begitu, atau misalnya bagi yang ini di outcome berikutnya mungkin sudah meningkat, misalnya ada dukungan bagi misalnya mereka yang mau membuka usaha kecil-kecilan atau apa, itu bisa didukung kalau ada dana ataupun dukungan yang tersedia misalnya. Jadi kira-kira itu ininya. Jadi bagannya itu dipantul gitu ya, dalam bentuk kayak bayangin kayak cermin gitu ya. Jadi dipantul, lalu satu demi satu dia di pohon masalah itu dibikin head to head, berhadapan, dan itu untuk menguraikan bagaimana relasi antara kerangka kerjanya dengan pohon masalah yang kita uraikan sebelumnya. Michelle.
So the logical framework is a way to organize your project. So you have a general objective, which is the broader long-term objective to which the project contributes, but which is not necessarily achieved at the end of the project. Then you have specific objectives, and these are more specific objectives that the project has to achieve. This has been something more concrete. And usually you need to have the specific objectives contribute to the general objective. So you read this from the bottom to the top. Then you have the expected outcomes. These expected outcomes are the more concrete effects and products of your activities, and these usually can be measured because they are concrete. It's like, for example, I will build, I don't know, 200 houses. So this is very concrete. So this is an expected outcome. And then you have the activity. The activity is the actions that your project will put into effect. And these actions are designed to change reality and achieve objectives. So, as I said, when you build your project, you have a group of activities. Each group of activity brings some expected outcomes. These expected outcomes brings you specific objectives, and then once you have your objective, you're supposed to attain your general objective. That's how it is read. So it is important because sometimes when you want to design a project, you want to do lots of things, because as we said before, you have lots of problems. So the logical framework is written in order to organize better your groups of activities. Each group of activity gives you an expected outcome, and these outcomes help you attain your specific objectives and your general objective. So this is how it works, and as I said before, it has a relationship with, yes. So this is how a project is built. So the purpose of all this webinar is to make you know the general vocabulary of writing projects and journal cooperation. As you see, there's a lot of words, specific words like logical framework. We didn't even speak about indicators or other words as a problem tree or things like that. So the purpose of this webinar was to familiarize you with this kind of words, and maybe next we'll have other webinars. So for now, I would say terima kasih. And if you have other questions, we can answer them if we have a little time left. Thank you.
Oke. Ya, oke, teman-teman, silakan kalau ada yang ingin bertanya. Jadi sudah menjelaskan soal bagaimana kita membuat proposal project untuk pendanaan, kalau kita mengajukan pendanaan di program kita. Tadi Dr. Jacob sudah banyak menjelaskan soal teknisnya dan mungkin menjelaskan juga apa yang lebih detail dari yang disampaikan oleh Michelle tadi. Silakan kalau teman-teman yang mau bertanya, diberikan kesempatan. Kalau memang susah dengan bahasa Inggris, langsung saja dengan bahasa Indonesia, nanti Dr. Jacob yang menerjemahkan ke bahasa Inggris. Silakan teman-teman. Kalau juga apa ya, silakan tulis di chat pertanyaannya. Gimana? Ada kayak ini, teman-teman? Oke, kayaknya tidak ada ini. Pak Jakob, ada pertanyaan ini?
Ya, mungkin aku coba ini sedikit ya. Michelle, I want to explain the last presentation.
Yes. Go.
Ya, jadi yang terakhir itu kan dia bilang soal kerangka kerja logis, bahwa itu adalah jalan keluar untuk menjelaskan bagaimana penyelesaian masalah yang kita tawarkan. Jadi kerangka kerja logis itu di situ kemudian akan dilihat apa yang kita lakukan, gitu ya. Bagaimana kita akan menghadapi persoalan yang kita lihat itu dan kemudian kita tawarkan untuk didukung, gitu ya. Nah, secara kerangka ada mulai dari tujuan umum, tujuan spesifik, terus hasil yang diharapkan tentu secara konkret maksudnya. Jadi tidak dalam rangka tidak misalnya hasil yang diharapkan itu bahwa berbahasa katanya pakai kata-kata sifat gitu ya. Misalnya hasil yang diharapkan baik atau positif yang gitu. Tapi konkret jadi lebih ke per indikator dia. Jadi bisa langsung dicek, bisa langsung dilihat. Terus ke aktivitas-aktivitas. Nah, terus itu singkatnya sebenarnya dia bilang bahwa tujuan dari webinar ini sebenarnya bagaimana pertama-tama untuk membuat kita lebih supaya familiar dengan istilah-istilah yang biasa dipakai dalam menyusun suatu proposal proyek, sehingga secara umum kita bisa menangkap apa maunya ini gitu, apa yang bisa meyakinkan pendukung, apa maunya si pendukung misalnya. Jadi kalau ada open calls proposal, terus kita bisa menyesuaikan dengan apa maunya mereka, terus apa yang terjadi di kita, terus kita ini kan bisa klop dia, sehingga tujuan dari ketika kita submit atau kita mengirimkan proposal itu dia masuk akal dan bisa diterima dan bahkan misalnya bisa didukung. Kira-kira itu, sehingga segala sesuatunya akurat gitu ya. Segala sesuatunya akurat sehingga memang tidak main-main, tidak hanya agar bisa cair, bisa dapat duitnya dan nggak ngapa-ngapain atau nggak jelas aktivitasnya, nggak jelas tujuannya, nggak jelas hasil yang diharapkan, apa indikator-indikatornya dan semangat awalnya untuk membawa perubahan ada atau tidak, misalnya gitu. Itu yang ini kan kalau misalnya teman-teman di mana saja, di pengurus wilayah atau di tempat lain atau pengurus daerah mungkin mau mengakses dukungan atau apa, katakanlah misalnya ada kesempatan dari pemerintah daerah atau pemerintah kabupaten yang ada misalnya, tapi harus dikirim proposal gitu ya. Nah, proposal, cara mengisi proposal itulah bagaimana kita perlu secara logis dan kerangka yang logis kita bisa meyakinkan agar proposal yang yang kita kirim itu berhasil. Jadi kita dapat dukungan kita. Jadi tidak sekadar dikirim-kirim aja supaya siapa tahu dapat gitu kan, siapa tahu didukung. Jadi ini lebih ke memadatkan upaya dan usaha yang kita punya. Kira itu kaos. Silakan kawan-kawan yang lain yang mau kasih komentar atau.
Iya. Oke teman-teman, silakan berikan komentar sebelum ini kita masih lanjut materi 1 atau sudah selesai ini?
Ini sudah selesai, tapi aku
udah selesai.
Leti ada dia mau bilang itu tuh.
Saya tanya dulu teman-teman. Ada pertanyaan teman-teman? Belum saya kasih ke Leti ya. Silakan teman-teman, mungkin ada chat ini, saya baca dulu. Oh,
Kawan-kawan.
oke, kawan-kawan sudah nggak ada kayaknya ini gitu ya.
I just want to say we know this is a lot of new words. This is a lot of information. So if you're interested and you think this is important, maybe we could have like a second webinar like this, and then try to analyze an existing project with the concepts we already learned today, maybe reminding some of these concepts, and then try to build a new one. Maybe I could propose that for next time, if you're interested, and if you have but if you have questions right now, I will be glad to answer them.
Yeah, yes, of course, Michelle. We're so glad to if we still have another webinar. Yeah, Carlos, let me want to say something.
Oke.
I wanted to say exactly the same thing. First of all, don't get discouraged. It is the first webinar. You've seen a lot of words that you don't know, but it's not so easy. It's not so complicated as it seems.
Yes.
So you are able to do it from a small organization. You are able to do it, and you will do it if you want to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Please don't get discouraged thinking that this is something very technical, that only specific people that have done specific studies on this or have like 20 years of experience like Michelle can do it, because it's not like this. So what we can do is what Michelle was saying before. We can do another webinar and trying to see how these elements and concepts he spoke about are used in a project. So we can use a practical project, a project that has won maybe, and we can analyze how people present in this project, and we can like take line by line and analyze how they did it.
Wow.
So you can translate all these concepts and theoretical framework into a practical example. And if in a second webinar we think we start already to understand what's going on, maybe in a third one we could bring like a project and a project application which is not completed, and for you to do the exercise of completing it using the same methodological framework, trying to apply it to the projects you want to develop. I don't know, maybe you already have some ideas, or it could be a project for BPAN, or a project each one in their villages or in their organizations can develop their own project. So we can analyze them together, discuss if it's a good objective, it's a good outcome, a good indicator, etc. So we can practice.
Yeah. Learn by practice, usually more easy to understand. Yeah.
Yes. No one was born knowing everything, so you need to practice, and we all need to do it.
Yeah.
So, please don't get discouraged.
No.
We will not lose our courage.
Yeah. Carlos.
Oke.
Izin mungkin kawan-kawan ada barangkali ada ini kali ya, mungkin ada komen lah ya, aku nggak tahu nih, Engga, Ade, dan lain-lain bisa kasih komen, tidak juga harus ini ya,
bertanya.
Ini
sharing
kayak
pengalaman
opening
juga kan.
ya, betul ya.
Mm-mm.
Silakan
Teman-teman
Ketua
punya
Awas.
pengalaman. Ya, silakan teman-teman. Jadi di momen ini bisa teman-teman gunakan untuk kira-kira mungkin bisa sharing pengalaman teman-teman kemarin pernah membuat proyek yang sama kemudian gagal mungkin karena tahap-tahap yang terlewati atau ada konsep-konsep yang mungkin di momen ini kita tercerahkan kembali tentang bagaimana menyusun proyek. Nah, teman-teman silakan mungkin bisa memberikan komentar, sharing pengalaman juga. Karena ini kesempatan kita untuk bertanya. Oke, silakan teman-teman. Kalau ada langsung aktifkan mikrofon dan langsung bicara. Oke, teman-teman. Belum ada kayaknya. Nanti seminar kedua atau ketiga ini kayaknya.
Iya, boleh.
Iya.
Iya. Tanya aja ke OAD itu ada Adi.
OAD, silakan.
Tertibnya administrasi organisasi tentu secara organisasi tingkat daerah misalnya. Dan poin kedua ada hal yang ingin kita perdalam dalam rangka membentuk proyek atau berbagai alat untuk perubahan ini. Misalnya ada bidang-bidang keputusan yang akan disupport oleh negara. Salah satu poin yang coba kita tadi adalah tentang poin entrepreneur. Misalnya di Bima NTB ini bahwa kontraktor di sini masyarakat adat misalnya ada beberapa pelaku pengrajin yang disebut adalah pelaku usaha kecil atau pelaku usaha mikro yang tentu kita tidak bisa jauh juga tentang masalah pandemi misalnya yang ada. Artinya aktivitas masyarakat adat yang entrepreneur ini seperti pengrajin dan lain-lain. Dan ini juga harus ada langkah taktis kita dalam rangka mengembalikan jiwa kewirausahaan dan kedua misalnya di Bima ini bahwa ada beberapa wilayah adat yang sejak lama kita perjuangkan secara organisasi tentang diklaim oleh perusahaan. Jadi di sini juga perlu kita diskusikan tentang peran kita selaku pemuda adat dalam rangka mengembalikan wilayah adat karena wilayah adat tersebut dan itu saja untuk sementara. Dan bicara secara teknis tentang penyusunan proposal ini mungkin bisa kita bahas lebih lanjut tentang kita dan selanjutnya apa langkah selanjutnya untuk mengeksekusi ini program misalnya untuk membantu mendorong kinerja kita dalam rangka mensejahterakan masyarakat kita. Itu saja untuk sementara Papua.
Oke, terima kasih Bung Ade. Masih ada lagi? Ya kalau sudah ada, saya serahkan kepada Pak Jakob untuk menjelaskan yang disampaikan Bang Ade tadi.
Tadi nggak ada pertanyaan ya?
Iya, dia cuma cerita soal kondisi di sana.
Oke. Michelle and Letty, Ade was saying that like a reflection, an internal reflection in the organization in BPAN, that through the administration good administration organization, entrepreneur. Halo? Pals, ini
Ya,
ya
dapat dengar. Silakan lanjut.
mute dulu bentar. Punyamu. Ya. And he also was seeing the potential of entrepreneurship in his community. That it is related to the idea if in the coming months or in the coming opportunity that we want to create a project proposal or project like this, that it could be it could be helpful, yeah. And also so this is kind of more explanation about the situation, the problems in his community. That for example, there is reclaiming territory by the company or by the state, that we as youth, as indigenous youth, need to face the problem. So the opportunity, the chance for indigenous youth itself, they are able to manage their forest, their territory, or their economic potential in their community without like land grabbing problem or something or what else. So this is kind of he says that how to in the future, that if the idea it could be collect through the data and kind of sources, we want to create a project that we will put on the proposal, the project. Yeah. So it is like a perspective from his insight now through this webinar, that of course indigenous youth, especially in his community, really need effort, really need support from others in this context, from donors. What else donors? What kind of donors? But the situation. So this is like his what he got from this webinar. So I think this is a good insight. This is a good horizon. This is a good explanation that he got from this webinar. So I think next, I don't know if we have another webinar that we can discuss more detail about the project, how to like Leticia earlier mentioned, that how to analyze a kind of a project, or a kind of a success project that present to the donors, for example. So I think that's the point, and then I think if there's no other comments or other questions, we can move forward to end this webinar. So from me, yeah, I don't know if you still have something something explanation or not. Let's back to Calvin.
Okay, thank you Ketua Jacob, and maybe before we end our webinar, and maybe we have time for 2 or 3 minutes for Leticia and Michelle to introduce about themselves so we can more know each other, and in the next webinar we will more friendly. Okay, maybe. Okay, please, Michelle and Leticia.
Well, I found this webinar friendly. I hope it was not so complicated for you. As Leticia said, and I will let her finish, the main idea for us is to explain to you that projects are not rocket science. It's not that complicated. But you must first be familiarized, you must first know what's the vocabulary we use to build projects. And also, a project is something you can do even without foreign support, without money from abroad. You can do it also at your level, in your village, or in your province, or in your country. The idea is the project is a tool to organize the efforts. So that's the main idea. That's what we wanted to transmit. And I think, well, if you are interested, the offer from now is to try to build more on some concrete examples from your country, and maybe, I don't know, build or first review an existing project you already have, or Amand has, and then maybe, I don't know, build a new project just for BPAN. So that would be our offer. We are, as I said, I'm here based in Ecuador. Here is almost 10 a.m. in the morning. So you are 12 hours in our future. So I was very glad to work with you in this, and hope you will be interested in continuing these kind of things. And maybe in a couple of months, I could speak Bahasa Indonesia and make this presentation.
Wow, it's so great.
Oh, it's good.
Good.
No.
You can do it.
You can wait for that.
I'm learning. I hope Jacob is also learning Spanish. That's
Yeah.
a deal.
Yeah.
With Jacob.
Yeah. I'm learning.
So terima kasih kawan-kawan, and see you next time.
Oke, Ketua Jacob, silakan.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle and Leticia. Thank you, everybody that has joining the webinar. And yeah, maybe before I close the webinar, I would like to introduce to the participants who are the team from Weaving Ties. So they are Leticia Dorman and Michelle Lafort. Jadi kawan-kawan, Weaving Ties ini mereka sudah lama membantu atau bersama-sama gitu ya, bersama-sama di lingkaran masyarakat adat di tingkat global, khususnya mereka banyak beroperasi di Amerika Latin, dan kemudian dari Asia ada Aman atau kita yang ini bersama-sama. Jadi sama-sama membangun membangun kampanye global, kampanye bagaimana suara masyarakat adat di tingkat global itu didengar, dan agar kebijakan terhadap masyarakat adat di tiap-tiap negara benar-benar diimplementasikan oleh pemerintah negara yang bersangkutan. Itu jadi Michelle sama Leticia, kalau saya sudah beberapa kali dengan mereka sama-sama ketemu, dan mereka sangat membantu. Banyak sekali pelajaran yang bisa kita dengan mereka kita dapat. Nah, kita selalu jalin komunikasi dan saat ini masih ini terus. Oke. I think that's a bit explanation, just a bit of explanation about you to all participants here. Thank you very much, Michelle and Leticia, for this webinar, this helpful webinar. This is very good, very helpful, very meaningful to us. That we learn very much from you to see the kind of project and to rewrite. And thank you. I hope in the next webinar we still have time to sit together, to talk together, to discuss together about this. And thank you. Terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih banyak. Selamat malam. See you. Terima kasih.
See you. Thank you.
Sampai jumpa.
Sampai jumpa.
Terima kasih kawan-kawan.
Ya.
Hingga
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam.